Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst with Money and Markets, and I love every week I get the opportunity to sit down, not just with Adam O'Dell, our chief investment strategist, but also with Greens on Fortune's co-editor Charles Sizemore, which is what I'm doing today in our Investing with Charles video series. And I like to challenge Charles and Adam on a weekly basis, whether that be through questions that you ask or ones that I come up with on my own. Either way, if I can stump them, that's great. I mean, I don't want to stump them to where they're just staring at the camera and going, I want to at least make sure they know an answer to what we're talking about. I want to take a topic that isn't necessarily covered mainstream, but is relatable to just about everyone. I think I've got one this week. And by the way, whenever we're done, I am going to tell you how you can submit a question and how you can get some free swag if you do so. So I'm going to do that here in a bit. But first, welcome to Charles Sizemore, who is coming to us from Peru. I don't know if is it rural Peru today, or is it?
No, you can tell by the very nondescript concrete wall that I'm actually back in Lima. So just for the uninitiated out there, the color of the sky this time of year, the color of the ground, the color of the dirt, the color of the ocean, the color of the walls, the color of everything in this country is what you see behind me right now. That is
a gray hue.
Just a gray hue. That is Lima, Peru in the South American winter.
Wow. So many directions we can go with that, and so little time. Well, okay. So I guess I'll just jump right in here. And I read somewhere, and I've actually cited before, that Americans are saving at a much higher clip now than they were even a year ago. I think the average savings was around 6.1%. That has actually doubled. It's about 12.4% as of right now. I believe that's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. And so what it's saying is that, Americans are saving more money. We're socking more away. We're putting more away in savings accounts, in 401ks and IRAs, in all sorts of things. There's a drawback, though, and it's not to actually saving money, but the drawback here is, if you have an employer-based 401k, which most employers actually offer if you're a full-time employee, you are actually capped at how much you can put in that 401k every year. The federal government says you are only allowed $19,000 every year, not including
$19,500 to be precise.
Sorry, I slided 500, but you're only allowed $19,500. That does not include any employer match or any profit taking based on investments. If you are over the age of 50, I believe that jumps to $26,000 per year. Is that correct, Charles? And you're capped. That's it. You can't put any more into that. But because we're saving on such a higher rate now, what that tells me is that Americans are interested in saving more money and saving more than maybe what their traditional 401k may allow. To me, I don't necessarily agree with the caps, but it is what it is, and I'm not in the government, so whatever. But I wonder.
But you should be, Matt. We should make you president.
I don't think so. Probably not. I speak way too plainly, and I like to get things done. So
you talk a lot, so you'd be a really good senator.
I do. But again, I don't necessarily have the BS capacity to be a politician. So all that said, and no offense to any politicians who may be listening.
No. Total offense to any politician.
Yeah, total offense to every one of them. I wonder, Charles, you have an extensive background in economics and in finance. Is there a way, if maybe I want to save more than $19,500 every year in my 401k, and a traditional savings account is okay, but the rate of return is awful. It's not really making it for me. Is there an alternative? Is there someplace else besides my 401k and not a savings account that I can put my money away and it can grow for me, and I can take it out when I'm ready and use for retirement?
Yes, there is. Before I get into that, I do want to make one point before, and that is why is the employer plan such a great deal? It comes down to two things. The first is matching. Now, they don't match you dollar for dollar all the way up to 26,000. Usually that gets capped at something like 3% to 5% of your pay. But still, that matching is free money. So, that's been well established. I'm not the first person to say that. If this is the first time you're hearing that, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but that matching is a big deal. But secondly, the tax break is also a really big deal. If you're in a high tax bracket, let's say your effective tax rate is, let's just make up a number, 30%. Every dollar you put into an employer plan like 401k, you're essentially getting, a 30% return just on the tax break alone. So I mean, that's a big deal, particularly for a high income earner, someone in a high bracket. This is a big deal. Like you're not generally going to make enough money in your outside investments to compensate for the tax break you're going to get. Like that first dollar of savings should always go to the employer plan. But once you've maxed that out, once you have that 19,500 or 26,000, depending on your age, what do you do with that next marginal dollar? And this brings up what I call, the spillover IRA. I have to do air quotes because there is no legal construct called the spillover IRA. This is a Charles Sizemore original, but I think it's an appropriate term. You guys have probably heard of a health savings account. This is something that I believe was created in the George W. Bush administration. It's essentially kind of like a health IRA. You can put money into the HSA. You get a tax break in the year you contribute that money. And if you take that money out for health-related expenses, it's tax-free and penalty-free. But here's the deal. You can put a lot of money into these things. If you have a high deductible health insurance plan, and most of us do at this point, an individual can put $3,600 into an HSA every year. Now you can put $4,600 if you're 55 or older. One distinction, it's 55 and older as opposed to 50 and older with the 401ks and IRAs. Why 55 and not 50? I don't know, but these are a little bit different. So if you're 55 or older, you can put in that extra $1,000 to get it to $4,600 a year. Now, if you have a family plan, if you have a family health insurance plan, the numbers get a little bit better. It's $7,200 for a family, and it's $8,200 if the head of household there is 55 or older. So that's really nice supplemental income. If you've already maxed out, or not supplemental income is the wrong word, supplemental savings is what I should say. If you've already put in 26,000 into your 401k, that extra 8,200. I mean, that's good as a percentage. Like that's a nice additional chunk. Now, there are some other kind of additional benefits there. 401ks and IRAs are subject to required minimum distributions once you get to be a certain age. For most people, that's 72. Once you hit 72 years old, you have to start taking money out of your traditional plans and then pay taxes on them. Well, there is no RMD on an HSA account. A lot of abbreviations being thrown around here: RMD, HSA, IRA. But yeah, there's no required minimum distributions on an HSA plan. You can just keep the money in there long after retirement age if you want to just allow it to continue to compound or just avoid paying taxes on it. And here's where it really gets fun. Even though HSAs are designed to give you basically a tax break on health expenses, you don't have to use them for health expenses. You can just let it accumulate forever. And after the age of 55, you can take the money out and spend it for just, you can basically take the money out the same way you would in a retirement account, penalty free. Now you are going to pay taxes on it. If you take money out of an HSA to spend on healthcare, you don't pay taxes on it. You don't pay a penalty. It's just free money at that point. If you take it out for non-health related expenses, you do pay taxes on it the same way you would pay taxes on an IRA distribution or a 401k distribution. But that's okay. I mean, if you're using this as a spillover IRA, that's kind of the point of the whole thing, right? To provide retirement income in the future. Now, again, because these are not strictly speaking IRAs, they're not strictly speaking 401ks, the numbers are different. The age at which you can take it out penalty free is a little higher. It's did I say 55 earlier? I actually meant 65. It's 65 as opposed to 59 and a half. Congress, in its infinite wisdom, created the law to where you can take your money out of your traditional retirement accounts at precisely age 59 and a half. Why 59 and a half? Why not 59? Why not 60? I don't know. I ask Congress. I don't know. But with the HSA plan, it is a little bit higher. It's 65 instead of 59 and a half. But that's okay. I mean, if you're looking at this as long-term retirement money, hopefully we're all around at 100, right? What difference does it make to wait a few more years?
So basically, the wrap here is, you may be contributing to a 401k. You realize that you are capped at either 19,500, or if you're over the age of 50, that's 26,000. But there is an alternative. There is another avenue of which you can save money and keep saving money to pull out when you retire, and that is a health savings account.
Exactly.
And the difference being is that one, health savings accounts don't have matches, so it's basically all your money. You have a certain cap based on how old you are and whether you have a family plan or an individual plan. All that can be spelled out very simply. You can open these up independently, if I understand. Doesn't have to go through an employer, doesn't have to go through anything.
It doesn't have to go through an employer, but it does have to be paired to a high deductible health insurance plan. So that is one deal. If you have a very generous health insurance plan, and if you do, I actually want to kill you because I'm jealous. But for the rest of us that have less than generous health insurance plans these days, this, generally speaking, you're going to have a high deductible plan, and an HSA pairs with a high deductible plan.
And then so you can take and you can save a certain amount of money. You can keep saving that money. It can be pulled out automatically. You can put it in yourself, however that works. And then once you reach a certain age, you can pull that out to use for whatever. If it's non-health related, you will be taxed at whatever the tax rate is. If it is health related, you won't be taxed. That's correct?
Yeah, no taxes, no penalties if it's health related. Now, remember, if you're over the age of 65, I actually think that is the reason why they allow penalty-free distributions for non-health related expenses after the age of 65. Why 65? That's the age you get Medicare, right? So yes. I think that's it. So at 65, you're going to be on Medicare at that point. You don't really need a lot of money to pay for health expenses. So at that point, it just becomes just extra retirement savings.
So really, it'd be worth it if you look at your health plan that you have now, see if you do have an addendum rather that allows for an HSA, and it might be worth looking into and start rolling money into that if you're already maxing out your 401k. Great.
But that is the key. Like max out your 401k first. This is very much what I call the spillover plan here. Like you finish that 401k, you get that done, you max that out. If you still have cash, you want to shield from taxation and invest, tax deferred indefinitely. This is a really nice spillover option.
Right. Exactly. 401k first. Once that is tapped, once that is maxed, then you want to look at something like an HSA or health savings account. So great information, Charles. Appreciate it. I will encourage you that we do love to get questions from our viewers, whether it's for me, Charles, Adam O'Dell, regardless. You can email us those questions, feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll flash that email address down below here. If you want to ask about something related to the economy, Charles is great with that. Stock related, maybe you want to get his insight, ask Adam O'Dell. If you're looking at cannabis or a broader market question, you can certainly ask me or ask any of us any question you like. We'd love to see that. And if you do that and we use either your question, we read it, or you can actually send us a video of you asking a question, we would love that. We will send you some swag. We will send you money markets, maybe a hat, maybe a sweatshirt, maybe something like that. We will send that out to you. But you email us feedback@moneyandmarkets.com, or you can comment down below on our YouTube channel. And we would love to see your feedback, love to see what questions you might have that you'd like us to answer. So every week we get to stand with Charles Sizemore. We've got a lot more coming up. We will have our Bull and Bear podcast. We've got Ask Adam Anything, plus our marijuana market update and much, much more. Don't forget, if you are interested in finding out more about the cannabis market, you can join our membership community. You can do that by clicking the join button on our YouTube channel and find out more about that. We're going to be adding more things that are not necessarily cannabis related, but more broader market related to that membership program. So you probably want to check it out now and then get in on the ground floor and we start adding those things in. So Charles, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to doing it again next week.
Thank you.
And until then, I'm Matt Clark, research analyst with Money and Markets. Safe trading, everyone.